Hey HTDA, and today we're playing some more Mindustry, and I am about to lose my first zone. So this facility over here is under attack, and you can see even though I tried to set up some more modernized defenses, at some point I just got overrun, mostly because this particular map sends dozens upon dozens of air units at you, but from a kind of an awkward angle. They kind of fly in like this. Sometimes they fly in through here. Well, if they did that, that wouldn't be too big of a problem because these cyclones can then take care of them. But as you can see, the cyclones can't really defend this area over here. And, well, basically just because everything here is kind of outdated at this point, it was really hard to kind of rebuild that while I was under heavy attack. Now, as you can see right now, my impact reactor is also shut down. So long story short, this level is game over. Honestly, I don't really care about that because, well, I'm not using this level for anything in particular. However, I'm also under attack in the nuclear production complex, and for some reason it's 63% damaged, and it's still going to survive 4 out of 4 waves. I'm not sure what's happening over here, but I definitely need to take another look at that because I don't want to lose this facility. Unlike the other one, this facility is actually part of my whole launching pad system, and I really want to keep this up and running. So it says 63% damage, but I'm not entirely sure which 63% that is, because this seems to be just fine. And everything here is just up and running. It doesn't even have any damage. The walls are still up and running. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. However, I definitely want to make sure I don't lose this particular zone, because I'm mostly exporting a lot of thorium over here. While we're at it, I might take another look at some of this, although a lot of this production is actually really useful. There's a lot of plastinium production. It looks pretty solid, honestly. I might need to update my mass driver setup a little bit though, because I was still using single mass driver lanes in order to get everything to my main base. But yeah, there might be some other areas where we can improve as well. Alright, so I now have an entire squad of Zeniths over here, a whole bunch of these Megas to the tier 3 healing unit. I have a whole bunch of the Spirocts, but most importantly I have, 4 of these Archaeads? The names in this game, man. But on top of that, where are you? There you are. I have 4 Velas, and just because it kind of got stuck in between, a Scepter. Now, between that and the 3 foreshadows I built over here that should be able to cover most of the map as well, I think I boosted up the defenses in this particular level enough, and I am still producing more Velas while we're at it, but yeah, I need some more materials because these things are expensive. Anyway, on that note, let's continue on to the next level. Ah yes, that glorious part of Mindustry where you're just sitting around for an hour waiting for your plastidium and search alloy to fill up. Anyway, I have everything I need now for the next level, and where are we going next? There is so many options. I'm actually inclined to take on this enemy base over here just so I can hopefully have another base that is safe. The infested canyons are a little bit annoying to defend, so, you know, might as well take this one on. Now, this is an attack level, so we're actually going to need to attack the enemy, and that is where my new layout comes in. I'm hoping that this will be a little bit more efficient. We're actually going to be able to produce Velas from the get-go with this layout. Is that actually going to work? I don't know. We are about to find out, because this is either going to be awesome, because this actually takes a long time to build normally, or it's going to be horrible because this is going to draw all the resources I need for other stuff. Let's find out. And there we go. And we seem to be starting off with something that looks like a pretty impressive base. Didn't they used to have more resources than this? What happened to my 6.5k and the additional stuff I got at the beginning of the level? Or did I just imagine that? That's weird. Anyway, yeah. It might have something to do actually with the fact that we're starting out with so many buildings this time around. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, let's see what we have to deal with. The main enemy base is over here. There's a core. It's just a single one, I believe. Yeah, it's just one. Honestly, these defenses don't seem too impressive. There's a couple of ripples over here, but all in all, just salvos. Looks like they're fueled with copper even, so yeah, that's not going to do a lot of damage against my tier 4 units. Tier 4 units might actually be complete overkill for this particular level if I look at it now. So maybe I should have different versions of the starting base. I don't know. There's some more ripples over here, but those are barely defended, so I can just run over them and just run past them and start killing them. Not sure what this base is supposed to be, but that's not really defended. Oh look, there's an air factory over here. I might want to take that out, although it's not going to be producing much other than flares, but this can still be annoying. And let's see, let's take a look at the map. So most of the enemy units are going to be built here, with the exception of the flare. So that means, I think, that I want to set up my... Well, actually, I want to set up my defenses over here, but there's an enemy base in the way. So that is not going to happen, most likely. Or actually, can it? I mean, maybe. It's a little cheeky to set up my defenses just right outside of these duo defenses, but honestly, I might be able to do exactly that. And if I can, then this is going to be a perfect choke point, because I don't think the enemy is going to come all the way down here. Although, if they are going to make... Oh, I didn't realize I unpaused there. Are they going to make... Yeah, they might also be making naval units. Actually, those are not... This is just normal production, ground production. Yeah, they might actually come through here as well. So maybe setting up the defensive line over here is not the worst idea. And then hopefully they don't go through here. Because if they do, that is going to be a problem. But at that point, we can move our defensive line a little bit more up front. First things first, though, I am going to add in a couple of more production facilities for units. Specifically the ones that I need to start making polys, because that will speed up everything I'm building a lot further. Okay, then the first thing on the list is to make sure I have all those resources coming into my main base, and I'm requesting thorium, a lot of silicon, as well as some titanium now. That should cover the basics. That makes sure these RTG generators will keep running, but it also will allow me to set up some additional power production over here. Okay, there we go. This is a healthy amount of power, and let's make sure I have the other half enabled as well. There we go. That's way more power than we're going to need. Well, it's not way more power than we're going to need for now, but it is going to be a decent amount of power. Why am I producing tier 1 units? I actually didn't notice that, but it seems like I have a small army of daggers. Not sure what we're going to do with those, but, you know, guys, go to the front, because that's where you're going to be needed. Yeah, so we have power, we have resources, we have unit production, actually. Now, we do need more unit production, because remember, we are going to need some cryo fluid, but I can very easily produce that now. So all I need to do is kind of double up on the production I have over here, and then we should be able to take care of that. I found a little mistake in my blueprint. Well, it's not a little mistake, it's a pretty big one, actually, because I have no way of getting the resources to this multiplicative reconstructor. That's going to need some silicon, titanium, and metaglass. So this RTG generator has to go, and I need to figure out how to get the remaining resources over there. Now let's see, this one should be getting it the silicon it needs, so we still need titanium, and we need the silicon and titanium. Yeah, so metaglass, that's the word I was looking for. Well, if I put another one over here, what does this one have? This has the titanium, so we still need metaglass in there somehow. Okay, so my theory is that by placing a sorter here, sorting for metaglass, I can get the metaglass to go in here through this unloader over here. And this unloader should be unloading the silicon and titanium from this one into the lower tier version. Now, hopefully that works, because otherwise I have a pretty big problem. Meanwhile, the rest of this base is nice and all, but I don't really need tier 1 production, and I don't need random scatters all over the place. Well, I probably need them at some point, but I definitely want to make sure I start building my factory in this place, because this is a little bit of a cramped area. But if I take it out this, I can get some copper and lead production up and running, and I'm pretty much already importing everything else. So then I just need to start importing some of the surge alloy, plastinium, and maybe some phase fabric just to make sure. Maybe graphite as well. But we have a lot of water over here, so we can set up some more of these landing pads to do exactly that. Okay, that is copper, lead, and actually some graphite as well covered. And now I'm also importing surge alloy, plastinium, metaglass, and phase fabric. And we're about to get our first wave. Now, hopefully that is not going to be too impressive because I currently have 0 defense, but we do have our first tier 4 Vela already halfway into production. And honestly, I could have been a little bit further ahead if I didn't run into this roadblock over here. Well, it looks like the first wave of enemy units is just a couple of these tier 1 crawlers, although these are 6 units. Where's the 7th one? Ah, look, there's a single flare over here in the corner where they're producing some air units. Well, I don't think any of that will be a problem. I have these random daggers that I built in the beginning, and I'm also going to make sure I reactivate this derelict set of lancers over here that should be able to take out pretty much anything the enemy will throw at me initially. In the meanwhile, I'm also going to upgrade my local production a little bit with some additional power and titanium production, as well as some silicon, because as always, that is the main bottleneck. Right, note to self, you might want to actually double check what route the enemy is taking, because for some reason they didn't decide to take the short route like that, but they just walked all the way around, and they are now arriving in the back of my base. So yeah, good luck to these turrets over here to do anything about that. It's pretty much instantaneous to just build a couple of lancers, for example, over here. But yeah, I mean, double checking for safety is never a bad thing. And you know, you might also want to check what those few flares are doing, because somehow they managed to blow up my entire thorium reactor facility. Honestly, the waves are almost coming in non-stop at this point. They have about a 1-minute spawn, and it seems that the waves are not accounting for the amount of units the enemy is building itself, which they're pretty much just sending at me non-stop. Now, these units are not particularly threatening for now, but yeah, as you can see, I am getting attacked all over the place. Again, not with too strong attacks, but I don't know, a couple of flares were able to blow up my entire power facility. Yeah, I feel like an idiot, don't get me wrong. So yeah, in the meanwhile, luckily, I do have my first Vela up and running, so there's that. And I should be able to rebuild this with the materials I have. Okay, well, the amount of mess I just generated over there was completely unnecessary and completely my mistake, but yeah, as you can see, everything is back up. I even have some polys again, because those also blew up as my factory exploded. But I should have the silicon now in production as I wanted, and all the power is back up and running. We have plenty of surplus to activate some turrets, and look, my Vela is up and running, and I am really curious what happens if I just send it over to this base, because these little flares are extremely annoying. I am actually just sending my Vela in the middle of these turrets over here, and considering these are just level 1 turrets, I don't think it should be any problem, but it is worth testing this out. Now, hopefully, let's see, my lancers over here might need a little help, but I just moved the Vela out of there. But yeah, it is taking some damage, but as soon as it starts cleaning everything up over here, that shouldn't really be a problem. And I do have the second one, so the first one can repair the second one and vice versa in production over here, and it should join the club in about half a minute. There we go, the turrets are down. It did take a surprising amount of damage, honestly, even though it was tanking the damage from these lancers, not lancers, arcs, I believe they are called, for a little too long, and sending in a single unit is definitely not optimal. But it's nice to kind of stress test these units to see what they can do by themselves. It does help, though, if you don't actively block the exit for your Velas so they can get out. Okie dokie, I have my duo of Velas ready now, and those should be very easily able to clear out this facility over here, because honestly there's no defense other than air defense, and these things are getting super annoying like I just said before. But yeah, it'll take about 2 seconds to take out this base for good. Meanwhile, I'll just continue to send my duo of Velas on their rampage across the enemy base, see how far they can get. They are constantly healing each other, so they are back up to full health, even if they get attacked every now and then. I actually have 4 of them now, so I'll leave 1 back for defense and add a 3rd one to the mix. Honestly, at this point, I am just right-clicking my Velas through wherever I need to go, and they do the trick. I mean, even these ripples and things like that don't really do that much. Sure, they do some damage, but, you know, the Velas do really nicely repair each other, so they're not really making a dent, and by the time they start to do any damage, well, as you can see, my units just waltz right in there, fire their lasers, and gone are the towers, including some of the other defenses that might be here. There I can blow up the power. I mean, honestly, it's just super easy. Meanwhile, I also have a couple of Velas at home, and those are also repairing each other. And I do have to say, it actually feels more difficult with the non-stop waves compared to the RTS waves I had before, where everything was just gathering up and then sending larger waves at once. Mostly because I'm under non-stop attack. So you get the attack warnings all the time, but you don't really notice if anything slips through, like this, for example, that could easily come through and cause some damage. So you can't just watch everything at the same time. And yeah, just a critical mass of Velas marching through the enemy base makes everything super trivial. And there we go, sector captured. Now if we can keep up this speed with every other level from here, the campaign is going to be done pretty quick. Now I have no doubt things will be definitely more difficult in some of the other levels, but yeah, I don't mind a simple level every now and then just to get a bit of progress. It's worth noting though that this level will be under attack from another zone, so if I want to make sure I don't have to come back here every now and then, I am going to need to clean out the enemy base, set up some of my own defenses, and make sure everything is automated. Now these Velas should go a long way to making sure that the base stays safe, but yeah, as always you want to make sure you have a lot of air defenses and things like that as well, because otherwise things will just turn into a nightmare really quickly. Speaking of nightmares, I believe this is, and I'm not kidding, the 5th or the 6th time my thorium reactors blow up, and I have no idea why. I even resorted to double checking if they were getting cryo fluid. I've been using the exact same blueprint that I have also been using in previous levels, and as far as I can tell, everything is just fine, until it's not, and everything blows up. I'm probably doing something wrong, but it is getting pretty frustrating. So you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go use RTG generators. The main reason I wasn't using this because Platinum and Phase Fabric was kind of rare, but at this point, honestly, it might be the optimal solution, because these things do not blow up. They do take a little bit more space, but other than that, you do not need the cryo fluid, and again, most importantly, they don't blow up. I'm not entirely sure if this is the optimal way, definitely sure it's not the optimal way on paper, but it is definitely the easy, lazy way at this point in the game. And with all that power set up, I only needed to add in some cyclones, some meltdowns, some foreshadows, some walls, some Velas that I am now pretty much kept out on actually, and some walls to block off the other entrances to my base, just in case the enemy spawns over here. I think they should be spawning over here, and I did leave a nice little gap in my wall so the enemy can walk right in between my meltdowns. Now, that should take care of things other than maybe the occasional flying units attack, but hopefully this will be enough for the AI to decide I can take everything on by myself. And the nice thing is, because I have this all set up over here, I can just switch this around and start producing a new type of unit as well, just in case I need that. But other than that, yeah, I think this should cover this level for the foreseeable future, so hopefully we can move on to the next one. And yeah, let's take another look at our MVP Velas. I really enjoyed them. I hope you did too. If you're still here, you are awesome, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.